recently we've got another heavyweight bass live stream. This time, got a very, very good friend of mine, the legend Tommy Trash, in LA at the moment. Look at him, look at his white hat.
Legend's a bit of an overstatement.
Yeah, I'll shut up. Yeah, all round nice guy, fucking, you know, top producer and all that kind of stuff. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm great. I brought out the Pussycat mug.
Yeah, but
I thought you'd like it. I'm like, what?
I appreciate it. I fucking love it.
To be drinking from.
Yeah, I love it. I love the look. Suits you. The woolly hat, the Pussycat mug. Really works. So, for those of you that have been living under a rock for God knows how long, Tommy Trash is Grammy-nominated dance music DJ producer from Australia, now based in LA. Loads of massive tunes, loads of big labels that he records on. I'm not even going to list any of them off, but you know, if you don't know him, you've been hiding under a rock, really. We'll just get into it, mate. So, people want to ask, what do you use? What's your DAW? You're an Ableton Live user, aren't you?
I'm Ableton Live, version 9.
Have you gone up to the latest version? To the Oh, I lost. There you go. Have you gone up to 9.5, the new one?
I have. I had a little bit of a tinker with the new sampler. Watched all the videos, but I'm not sure.
You got the new filter as well. I
haven't fucked with it yet though.
It's fucking good, man.
Sounds amazing.
Plug-in is It's by the same guy, Glue, as well. He's Aussie.
What's his name?
Yeah, the fuck knows. I can't remember.
Is it Andrew?
Yeah, it's Andrew. That's it. Andrew, yeah. And what monitors are you using at the moment? Well, I know you're just setting you up because you just moved into a new place. But what monitor are you using?
I've got the Focal 9s, and I've got a pair of the Genelec SAMs.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice. Focals
and the Genelecs, and they're the ones. I think they're the SAMs. Do you know those ones?
SM9s? Is that the one of the Focals you got? Yeah, you got the bigger ones.
I'm googling it. It's the SAM. They look like a little tweeter. They're like, well, it's one tweeter on the front. That's it. But they're fucking. They're amazing, dude. I love them. My Focals aren't like right now. Actually, I'll go.
We're getting like bad connection.
Bad connection. My internet's really quick here. Hello?
Hold on, you've gone. Your internet problems. There you go.
So basically, I'm in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Right now, and so this is my setup right now. Can you see that?
Right. Yeah.
These are the Genelecs.
Oh, so that's how you're working right now. Yeah.
So I've got the Lynx. I've got the Lynx Hilo sound card, and yeah, the Genelecs, and basically everything's in the box.
Like, oh, right. Okay. Yeah. No hardware. All inside the box.
Yeah. I mean, with all the traveling I do, it's
what sound card do you use? What converters? What have you got?
You know the Lynx Hilo.
Oh yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you got great conversions. You got good DA as well. So you know good headphone amp on that, so you can hear what's going on.
Yeah, it's great. I've had that for a couple of years. I love it.
Yeah, it is very good. So, a few people have asked and wanted to. How did you get into dance music? I know you've got a classical background.
Yeah.
So, give us a little bit of background. You know, how did you make the move from what the classical music and whatever else you were doing in stuff?
It was a really gradual process. And basically, I started fucking around with Cakewalk, and then got into Logic version 3.
Yeah.
How old I am. And version 3. And then, I don't know, I was making I was trying to make pop records, like all the big Max Martin hits. I was trying to make like the backing tracks for that kind of stuff. And then eventually I started messing around with sound fonts and really weird sound fonts. And then I started going clubbing and started getting into the whole, that whole scene. And then eventually the music that I was making went from pop into more electronic-y kind of stuff, and then went even more like dancey. And then while this was going on, I was playing in bands. And then my sort of break was when I'd moved to Sydney, and I was moved to Sydney with a band, and she recorded an album and I remixed one of the songs from the album. Yeah. And I sent it into Ministry of Sound Australia to Andrew Jackson when he was back there. And he said, I fucking love the record and I want to release it as a Tommy single. So we ended up doing the vocal as a sample clearance. Yeah. And we did
that was going to be my second question. It's like, how long was it before you got your first release? But you kind of answered that one. So yeah, you sent it directly to the artist. Yeah, cool. To the label.
The label. I think I found Andrew's email online.
Yeah.
For Hustle Records, back when Hustle was doing all the breaksy kind of stuff.
Well, that just shows you the people watching this. Yeah. Yeah, it just shows for the people watching. We'll watch back this later on. See, people do get signed from just sending stuff to labels. A&R guys do listen to the records, so don't get disheartened.
That wasn't the first thing that I sent Andrew, though.
Right. So okay.
I'd been sending Andrew tunes for a few months, and I guess we built a bit of a relationship online, but. Me sending records and him giving me feedback, me tweaking them. And then I guess I learned from his feedback a little bit. And then, I mean, looking back now, all the records pre-slide, they weren't right, But at the time I sent them in, I thought they were the one, And now I look back at it and I'm like, ooh.
So, what's your approach to writing a track in the studio? Do you go in with an idea sort of already in your head, or is it like a bit more spontaneous? Are you just kind of getting loops together and kind of just picking the right sounds, getting that together?
I do all of the above.
Right. Okay.
Depending on how I feel, but like sometimes there's advantages to working each way, and I feel like sometimes when you just putting loops together and, really just fucking with loops and not trying to make anything melodic or anything like that, just getting sounds. And I think that's a great way to explore. But for me, I guess I've come from a more of a classical background. So I used to start off with chords and melody and with with maybe one or two synth sounds and build it around from that. But now I find I'm starting more from loops. Unless I have unless I'm just like spending a day on my piano, writing chords and actual like songs.
Is that for ease of life? Is that sort of come about because you're on the road a hell of a lot, and taking around your keyboard and I know you can have a little portable one, but taking around your big keyboard never ever is not really practical, is it? So is that something that's come about from being on the road, just getting the loops and trying to work quickly in hotel rooms? Or
I think there's a bit of that, and I think a bit of it is just exploring new plugins and trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Because I think working purely from a melodic point of view can have its drawbacks and can have its it kind of stifles you a bit. Whereas if you're sort of approaching your creativity from working with loops and sound design, I think you can come up with some really cool, fresh stuff, as opposed to just doing the same old kind of like melodies and chords, and with like similar kinds of, you know, synth presets and whatnot, you know. So
So where are you getting your what's influencing you at the moment? Where are you getting your, like, you know, your creative ideas? Obviously you're in the clubs all the time playing music, whatever, but is it literally, are you still being influenced by, you know, stuff from outside of the club scene, or is it really you kind of, you know, it's people are sending you tunes that, you know, and you're taking what's going on, taking the influence from within the dance scene?
A bit of both. I mean, I do my monthly podcast, and I literally listen to, I mean, I'll listen to hundreds and hundreds of tunes to, you know, pick what I want for the podcast. So I'm definitely getting influenced by the stuff that I'm picking for my podcast. Even though, like, a lot of that stuff is a lot deeper than what I play and what I write, I think some of the sound choices and the way it's put together, I think, can really, especially now everything's going a bit more housey and less of the big room banger kind of stuff. Yeah, you know, the housey stuff is really influencing me. But I mean, I love, you know, today I was just listening to, you know, the Bonobo, that last Bonobo Essential mix and his live album on Spotify and stuff. And so I love that kind of stuff as well. I love, you know, guys like Dixon. I take all of that stuff in because I feel like they have these like really weird, eclectic sound choices, and, you know, it's like that you don't hear in necessarily in big room music.
But then I think the way they do it, they put their music together is amazing. All that kind of stuff at the moment. It's just the way they get their transitions going. It's all very simple and it flows really. It's just, you know, they just don't pack it out. There's not loads of shit happening. You know what I mean? It's just they do less is more approach. And I think that's
every sound element counts. You know, every sound element has a purpose, and I feel like
there's nothing just thrown in for the sake of it.
Yeah. So I guess really
people listening. So
sorry.
There, mate. I lost you again for a second.
I've got. Well, you're back. You're back.
Yeah. You're back. You're back.
So I was just saying, like, for me, like, I think a really big influence I'm taking from these guys is that less is more thing, and really trying to make each sound have a purpose and really count. Because I definitely in the past have been very guilty of just layering beyond belief and just to get a powerful sound, but I'm kind of starting to move away from that.
Yeah, you fight. Everything's fighting for the space. You know what I mean? It's good. It's great the way how even now in the conversation you're transitioning the way that you're mixing your records and you're producing more. You know, the old layering punch, and now you realize that you don't need to do that to get that. You know what I mean? It's all about the right sort of choices and minimize the fighting between all the elements. And you can still get the same punch and weight in the tune. It just gives me more space, more movement, and more air. You know, it allows it to breathe.
I think it makes doing the mix down maybe even a little bit easier because there's not as many competing elements. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. You're not going to try and sit there and, you know, make everything fit in. You know what I mean? You've still only got, and what people forget is you've only got left, centre. That's the space that you've got. You know what I mean? You've got to try and fit things in, and all the frequency range. So if you've got things clashing and fighting for everything, less is more. You know, it's definitely something that I push. I mean, when people send me records, they mix muting. People don't even hear taking stems out because it's. You know what I mean? Once the mix is sorted out, you can just get rid of loads of audio, and people don't even realize I've done it because they've just put it in for the sake of it. So, So someone just asked me, how do you make your bass lines? What's your favorite synth for bass lines? And do you process them in a particular way?
I Yeah, I mean, all my baseline stuff was all done on silent.
Didn't you use it like Ataria? Didn't you used to use the Ataria back in the day? The what is it? The Ataria, the old Prophet or whatever it was. All those, you know, the soft used to love those. Yeah, and the Moogs, whatever they were, no?
I used to be all about the Arturia Moogs and
That's
stuff.
it. Yeah.
And then I found that it was kind of like, I don't know, like Silent came out and I just liked it better. It probably didn't sound as good, but I feel like manipulating the synth was just way easier and made more sense to me.
Yeah. It's an easy synth to get your head around.
Huh?
It's an easy synth to get around, you know, when you're trying to, you know.
Yeah, so my baselines are basically, I mean, there's literally like 12 plugins on my bass chain, but the essential ones are Silent, Wow Filter, Omicide, Distortion, and Reverb. No, the Lexicon Reverb. The Lexicon.
Yeah. And you're layering your basses, yeah. So you obviously, you know, your sub part and the sort of top line on top of it.
Oh, and then so that would be sort of like the real crunchy layer, and then I would just have a sine wave underneath.
Okay, and then you're doing that all with Silent as well, yeah.
The sine was Silent as well.
Yeah. Cool. It's good. I you know, people try to jump across on synths or whatever. If you've got one synth, you can do everything you need with it. If you know it, you can make any sound you want with Silent. You know, once you get your head around it.
I agree totally. You know, I feel like people are searching far and wide for the new plugin or the new synth or whatever, but they don't even know how to use the synths that they have properly.
What they're searching for, mate, are presets. You know, that's because they're searching for the new presets because they're not going to try and make the sound. You know, because they just want an easy life. You know?
How are you going to be doing that?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know. I recommend actually people, if they're struggling with sound designs, to do. It's a plugin that teaches you sound design. So it looks like or something, but there's loads of exercises that you do, and it teaches you to basically understand what each does and how to make your own sound. And it's like you know, classes with this plugin. It's really, really good. So anyone that's going to watch this or listening now, is get your hands on Syntorial if you want to learn about sound design. It will teach you how to Syntorial. So Syntorial.
I might get on that.
Yeah, it's a guy in the group. He's in the heavyweight bass group. I'll introduce you to him. So it's amazing, dude. It basically will it will teach you how to take the sound in your head and create it on a synth.
I think you should always be trying to like learn and pick up new shit, you know?
Yeah, so always.
I want to know. I want someone to teach me FM synth. So if there's anyone out there that wants to teach me FM synth,
needs to speak to Noisia.
Dude, we had the funniest time together in South America one night. We would, actually, I shouldn't say.
It's a random story going off on a sidetrack story.
Those guys are wild.
Yeah. And they know their shit as well.
They know their shit.
Seriously know their shit. Yeah, but the FM synths, they're the kings of that, dude. All right, someone else just asked me, drums. Process on their own, or do you group them on a bus and then stick your effects on? So do you kind of process the kick, the snare, or do you bus them together?
Both. I mean, I bus all my percussion together. And I mean, each channel has compression on it if I feel like it needs it. Each channel will have if I think it needs it. And then the percussion minus the kick will have it. And then I'll run them all into another thing with the kick and percussion together.
Are you just doing little bits of compression, just literally little bits of, you're not doing major bits of compression on your drums, are you? Not loads of gain reduction, just little bits, yeah?
Because the samples all sound pretty good anyway.
Yeah, they all sound good. I mean, nowadays I'll take off like 1 or 2 dB, maybe 3 dB with with a compressor just for a little bit of glue with all the parts. But then it's all about the limiter at the end. You know, sticking the limiter on it to make everything loud at the end of it. Vox-Engo Elephant, and then just slam all that and do that on all the channels, and it will just fucking rip your head off.
Dude, you've been telling me about Elephant for years, bro.
Yeah, still the best one in clip mode. There's nothing's touched it. Yeah, nothing's touched it. It's in clipping mode. So 4 times oversample.
There's a new thing in the T-Rax, that new one in the T-Rax bundle. Have you tried that?
Stealth limiter. Yeah, but that's a brick wall limiter. It's a different thing. Yeah, it's supposed to. It's a few people have been trying it. I've had a little play with it. It's have you ever used Invisible Limiter by AOM?
I tried that a few months ago.
Yeah, now that's fucking amazing. And Stealth is like supposed to be the supposed to be better than that. I haven't really played too much. My secret weapon limiter at the moment is Tone Boosters Barricade. There you go. It's $30. Go and buy it, mate. It's probably one of the best limiters you're ever going to get. I'll send you a screenshot of my settings. Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot of my settings. So it gets stupidly loud, dude. Absolutely ridiculously loud off the back of it. All right. I know you do, so I'm going to ask it. Your master chain, you know, you run into master chain plugins, don't you?
Yeah.
What's the general sort of chain that you're running these days?
I've been playing with a bunch of different plugins, and Invisible Limiter was in there for a minute. But actually, I decided to keep it really simple and go back to just T-Rax. In T-Rax, there's a Master 1 setting. And I just work into that, and it's
so you mix with that on from the very beginning, don't you? Yeah. So I was trying to explain to people because they were sort of asking, you know, because you get your records are loud, yeah. And like if you try and sometimes people try and when I master records, people want to try and get that same volume as well. But you know, it's very hard to do it with a stereo file. Whereas if you're mixing into it from the beginning, you can adjust kicks and your balances. You know, when you pull up the level, so you know what's going on when you're driving into that limiter. You know what I mean? Because the sound changes.
Because like if I'm like near the end of a mix and then I take the limiter off, the whole mix down is whack. Like the volume,
all your levels change.
Elements because
because you know the things like the hats and that get sucked down when the limiter's on, and the bass at the bottom end suddenly you get a bit of grunt and that all disappears. Your snares, which will suddenly with punching, they'll all drop down in the back of the mix. Yeah, that's what I try to tell people, that if they're using L2 and they're sticking that on at the end and they've mixed into it but they're going to send it to mastering, make sure that they listen to their mix before, because I guarantee you switch that limiter off and your whole mix has gone to shit. Everything will change. Yeah. So you're still just using the T-Rax stuff. You've been using that for years,
dude. It's like it just works for me, you know.
I know Anthony Hook and Slings still does the T-Rax thing, and he
put me onto it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I missed it. Yeah, because he
put me onto it.
Yeah, he told me that's what he was doing as well. Yeah, I rate all that T-Rax stuff as well. I still think it sounds great. All right. If you could only have one reverb plugin, what would it be?
What's the name of it? I've got a fucking brain fart right now. Probably one reverb.
Yeah.
You're
on a desert island. You can only have one. Okay, yeah.
Valhalla Vintage Verb.
Okay.
Or The Room. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Either or. I think they're both fucking good.
And I feel like they're like really low CPU and sound great.
You should have a look at Exponential Audio as well. It's probably the best reverb out there. You'll like it because it kind of sounds like the Valhalla one. They're really nice. I'll send you. Yeah, exponential. I'll send you the link afterwards. I can't even say it properly. It's like
I'm gonna have an inbox full of Klaus goodies by the end of this.
Yeah. I'll send you some stuff.
We should do it every week, Klaus.
Yeah. You can only have one EQ plugin. What would it be?
Fab filter.
Oh yeah, the version 2. Yeah.
Or that. Not Equilibrium. What's the new one?
The damaged audio one. Yeah, well, not Equilibrium. What's
it's the new one?
Equality
or Equilibrium. It's the whatever the new. There's a new one.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah.
Equilibrium.
Yeah, that's a beast of an EQ.
Equality is great as well.
Yeah. You should have a try Air EQ. Really nice. That's my new one.
Eosis?
Yeah, Elysis or whatever it is. Yeah. He's like a new version. Yeah. He's the guy that designed all the Slate plugins as well. He's redone it all. So there's a new version of it out.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of the Slate plugins, I use that limiter too a lot.
Oh, what, the FXG or whatever it is?
FXG, yeah.
It's bugged to fuck. He has never fixed it.
I've never had any problems with it.
Yeah, no, I used to use it, and I think the compressor's really nice on it still. I think it's the compressor on the FXG is nicer than the compressors that he's done, the virtual bus compressors as a separate plugin. I think it's a nice one. But yeah, I used to use it, but then, as you've got louder with volumes and stuff, it just starts struggling, especially with the newer version when he got rid of, where he changed the way that the transient knob works. The presence and the transient.
Oh, I haven't upgraded to that.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, exactly. Don't stay on the old one because that's where it fucked up for me. I got rid of it and then I gave up on it because he changed how it all worked.
Did you send them feedback on it?
Yeah, they don't listen to no one. They're like, he's like the used car salesman of audio. It's like, buy this. Oh, it's great. And then it's like, and then he never repairs the bugs, and then a new piece of software comes out. I mean, it's good stuff, but at least go back and fix the old stuff, You can only have one compressor. What would it be?
Dude. I think I just use the fucking glue, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, you can do anything you want with glue.
I just use the what's it called? I have a goldfish memory, by the way. I'm not trying to skirt around the thing. I basically just use the glue or the internal glue or the Ableton in the normal Ableton one as well.
It's the sweet plugins. Yeah.
I use Fab Filter. I use LA2A. I just recently got all of the UAD shit, and I got a couple. And I got a couple of those the DSP boxes for it.
Yeah,
the Firewire boxes. So,
how you find them? Have you been using them much?
I haven't really started using them. I use them for one thing, and I liked it. But I haven't really gotten deep into it yet because I haven't set up my studio, and so they're all.
Yeah, and it's just forcing yourself to use them because you're like me. When I got them, I was so used to just using what I already had. You know what I mean? It took me forever to actually get into them, but they do sound good.
Dude, yeah. So, and I got some deal where I got basically the whole suite super cheap.
Oh, so do you like the Shadow Hills mastering compressor in there? Sounds great.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, so I haven't even really touched a lot of that stuff. So I'll let you know when I've.
All right, and then what's your vision for the future of Tommy Trash? Where's your sound moving? Where are you going in the next 18 months? Because everything's changing. Musically, the EDM shit's on the way down. You know what I mean? I don't think the big room stuff will never disappear because people like that. Kind of thing. But where are you going?
I despise the fucking big room stuff now. Most of it, 90% of it. And that's why you don't really hear any of that on my podcasts anymore. So for me, it's like, it's just more about making cool club records. Not necessarily trying to go pop or anything, just making cool club records that I want to make. Like I just done the Fool's Gold EP, and that's like way less big room, but it still feels like me, I think. You can still kind of tell it's me, but it's just not, it doesn't have like the super massive build-ups and the whatnot, but there's still like that kind of my baseline kind of vibe. Yeah, so basically next year we're starting my label and I'm just going to be putting out a record.
Are you? Excellent.
Yeah, so putting out a record every 3 to 4 weeks. And I have 3 months off at the start of the year where I'm just full-time studio and
are you going to look to do some other artists on there, or are you going to just really keep it for your own stuff?
I think I'm just going to keep it for me for the moment. But at the same, I mean, I'm not going to actively hunt for other material, but
But if something good comes your way,
I think though it's really important for me to set the tone of the label for a few months.
Yeah.
And you know, for maybe the first 6 months.
Give it its identity.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and then I guess we'll just see what happens from there. You know, and then, you know, I'm still in my deal with Ministry Australia, so I think I've got like 3 records left with them, but they'll be obviously more like vocal kinds of records.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just be doing that as well. So, but yeah, no more sort of that kind of really big room Tommy, like my Ladi Daddy or Reload or none of that kind of stuff. Not, I can't really see that really happening unless I come up with something and it feels special, you know?
Yeah. All right, mate. If you got one piece of advice, someone starting out, you got anything to give them? A tip, a piece of advice when they're starting out? Any words of wisdom from Mr. Trash?
I've got a few words of wisdom. I think it's really important to spend as much time working on your craft as possible. So when you have the option of going out to party or staying at home and honing your craft, or choose the latter, I think don't take drugs. I also think there's some like really cool plugins for like ear training, and I think really good to like learn your frequencies for ear training.
There's some good websites actually. So I've got some up on the blog. I post them up, some good online stuff.
I think, you know, I think that, you know, like, you know, people like really underestimate that kind of ear training. You know, back in music school, we would learn what a major chord sounds like, or a minor chord sounds like, or what a major scale, but like we didn't really learn. In my degree, we didn't learn, what frequency is that? What frequency is that? You know, so for me, I had to really spend some time slaving away at that. It took me a long time to get it instead of just guessing, you know? And I just think be really self-critical. But when you listen to a song, be like, is this really the shit, or is it shit? You know,
don't take offense when people turn around. You know, people ask me for advice. You know, listen to my tune. What do you think? And like, I'm always brutal because it's the best. Everybody was brutal with me when I started out because it's the best way. If a tune is good, people will tell you that it's good. Don't expect people just to say it, and don't get hurt if people are saying, "Oh, no, it's not quite there yet."
Yeah, and you know that can definitely bruise your ego and maybe be discouraging, whatnot, but. You know, this shit doesn't happen overnight. You've got to work.
Like, we got a saying in the group where we say this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You know what I mean? It's you're forever learning, and it takes forever.
And I think another really important piece of advice is don't look around you and worry about what other people are doing. Too many people like sit around and bitch about this artist or bitch about that and be like, they've only been doing it for like a year and look how big they are. Or, It's like, don't worry about that. You just fucking do your own shit and worry about how good your craft is.
Yeah, concentrate on yourself. Yeah, concentrate on that's it.
Yeah.
Mate, well, listen, it was an absolute pleasure. It's been a little while. Hopefully, I'll see you when you're here.
I'm back on the 22nd for a week.
Oh, well, I might try and catch you over for a beer or something.
That's definitely.
Big, massive thank you to Tommy Trash for taking time out, mate. Really, really appreciate it. You know, I love you for doing this for me, taking the time out to talk to me. I hope everybody got their questions that they wanted to get answered and got enough out of that. Really, really informative. We'll be doing another one next week. I'm not sure who I'm doing it with, but we'll do another stream next week with another producer or mix engineer or something like that. Once again, thanks, Tommy. Cheers very much. That's it. We're gonna finish up now, and I'll see you all soon.